I know you're thinking, what the hell is that? The same exact thing just happened when my wife brought this down during a live broadcast for members only. To give back to you guys, the Extreme Channel is giving away this giant Goro statue from PCS for our 20,000 sub giveaway. If you want to know how to win this, I'll tell you a little bit later in this video. Hey, thanks for tuning in, guys. Today we are looking at a custom. That means it's a private, unlicensed commission Violator piece from the Spawn comics. That's right, Violator is kind of Spawn's arch enemy. He's his biggest adversary, and this is one form of Violator. He's also known as the Clown, which is kind of a fat, humanistic form of a clown. And as I said in the intro, kind of an interesting story about this. So I was having a few drinks, enjoying some time with the Extreme Channel members. What that is, actually hit that join button below. If you don't see a join button, check out the link in the description. So I was having a live chat, and this piece was supposed to arrive in a few days. However, it showed up during the live stream. So we did an unboxing. And worst of all, I'd had a few drinks. Now that was only about 10 minutes ago, so... But today we're going to review this incredibly rare piece. As I said, it's a custom. They only made 33 of them, and I am stoked to have them in the collection. For a few reasons. Number one is I'm going to put them right next to this Curse of the Spawn piece. While this already has a Violator head on it, it's going to look fantastic next to it. Also, I have another upcoming custom Spawn piece, this right here, which I think he'll look phenomenal next to that as well. If you want to see more of that stuff, make sure you check out the Extreme Channel Facebook page and Instagram. I actually post exclusive pictures in there before it's even launched on YouTube. But enough of that, let's get into this character a little bit more. So this is actually a demon, and he's in charge of the Hell Spawns and training them. Now, he doesn't have any glorious powers other than looking badass in his Violator form. He's very strong, he can heal relatively easy, he can breathe fire, but he's not really that interesting a character, in my opinion, other than the way he looks badass, which is why I bought him. And again, he's a great companion piece to any Spawn statue you may have. Now, this is what we call 1/4 scale, meaning if he was real, he would be 4 times larger than this. But today we're going to take an in-depth look at this piece, and it has a lot of pros and a few cons. So let's kick it off starting with the concept of this piece. What I really like about this piece is there's a lot tied into a little. And what I mean by this is you have a sub base, kind of a museum style bronze sub base. And on top of that is almost a crazy hellish cathedral. You have almost what looks like souls or bodies trying to come out from the bottom. Then you can tell it's some type of church or cathedral because of the ornate windows that are going up there. But on the sides or the pillars, they have more demonic aspects to it, and I think it looks fantastic. It's this off-green color, which we'll talk about in paint and sculpt, and it's a broken building where he's really standing on top just looking fierce as hell. One of the things we'll look at again during paint and sculpt is this kind of resin clear moist effect he has all over him. He is ready to battle. He is standing on top of it. He's after his prey, presumably Spawn or something else, and he just looks incredibly badass. I think this is a great representation of Violator, and like I said, kind of what Violator has going for him is he is such a cool, crazy looking creature, and I think they pulled that off. I mean, this is what we would call almost a museum pose, so he's not in the middle of some big action. He's more like posing for a picture, and let's face it, the picture is scary as hell. So I really like it. It's a simple concept. It doesn't need to be really elaborate, but I think the concept's a 3 out of 5. Now on the extreme scale, 3 out of 5 is a good score. That means you get what you paid for, and I think that's definitely the case here. Now with design, we did have a few issues. Because he arrived unexpectedly during a live stream, I thought let's unbox him live stream. So you guys won't be able to see that, however the Extreme Channel members did. However, it's fairly simplistic. The base was one piece, Violator was another, and then on his elbows, these 4 spikes were another piece that didn't fully sit in, so I did have to use some glue. They did provide some putty, which I assume that's what that might have been for. And when I say I assume, Mrs. X actually figured that out because she's a lot smarter than me. Now, unfortunately, I did have 2 problems. Let's look at those. First is the left foot actually floats. It doesn't sit flush at all. Now, this could be due to the temperatures because there is an Arctic freeze going on right now, and this came from China. The other issue is the jaw was completely broken off. Thankfully, it wasn't that bad, so through my miracle use of glue, and when I say my, I mean Mrs. X, we were actually able to glue it back on. You can slightly tell one of the 3 broken parts right there. And also, the tongue was a separate piece as well. I forgot to mention that. Now, it does have a cool light up feature. I hate to look at work in progress of projects going on. Once I buy it, I know I'm going to get it, so I don't want to see anything that's going on. So I didn't even know it had a light up feature. So I was pleasantly surprised when there was an AC adapter, and I didn't know which part lit up. So as you're looking at him right now, I was thinking it was maybe something on the base, but as you see, it's actually his eyes light up. Very cool feature. I'm going to see if I can try and tie this into the case that he's going to sit into. Now, one thing with this is when you ship a statue that has a jawline like this, it's expected some of them are going to break because most carriers aren't that careful with these pieces and they weigh a decent amount. This one probably 30-40 pounds or so. Thankfully, like I said, I was able to fix it with minimum casualties. And while it might hurt the value down the road, I can certainly live with it. But with an elaborate piece like this, that is the risk you take. I was pretty shocked none of the nails were broken off, so I was very happy about that. But I also give the design a 3 out of 5. Now we'll dive into the paint and sculpt, and kind of a spoiler, I think the base is good, but I think Violator is excellent. Let's take a look. Alright, so let's dive in looking at the base. Now, as I said, what's interesting about the black museum sub base here, it's instead of being a normal black, actually, it's kind of bronze. And it's not clean. It's kind of got these divots and dents in it, which I like because it's different. There's the AC adapter spark. And then, like I said, these almost look like hellish souls or beings trying to come up through the church. And it has kind of that same bronze patina. I've been drinking. But, and then all around, like I said, this is almost a cathedral. Almost looks like some stained glass windows. And it's kind of a mix between silver and green with some vines growing up the side, and then these corner demonic aspects with horns out of their head. Just a weird, creepy base. And when you think of comics, especially like Spawn and Violator and things of the underworld, I think this flows really nice. And then you come onto the top where it's kind of this brick aspect of the building that's been demolished by Violator, and I think they did a nice job. However, I think Violator has done much better. As we move up him, he's a mix of greens and different shades of brown and a little bit of yellow mixed in there. And even at the top here, we'll come back to kind of that green saliva wet effect. But you see a moist resin effect kind of all over him. And I really like this in certain statues, and I think this is one of them. And then his nails look fantastic. They have that same effect on them. Very sharp from brown to yellow. They look fantastic, whether it's the ones coming out of his elbows. His teeth are very similar, which we'll come back to. Now clearly he is a creature of the night, so that you can't talk like basic anatomy, but I love the huge claws on his feet and his hands, and then the skinny aspects of him, and there's so much detail in this. Look, it almost looks like, you know, outer layer muscle striations coming over veins. And then you see more colors on here as well. Really impressive. And then he has this spiked back with a huge horn, typical Violator. And then this is where you see that green moist effect. And again, I'm not as familiar with Violator to know if this is supposed to be something specific or just an effect they added. But how the spinal cord goes down looks fantastic. The creepy long arms. Now in his eyes, he has almost this honeycomb pattern of these red eyes. And it's interesting to me how they did such a good job with the light up feature, because you can't tell that these are translucent and that there is a light behind them. So really impressive with that. I like the detail on the horns here, how the color varies down to this more bland color on the end. His tongue has that same moist effect. Now if you wanted, you could actually remove the tongue, but I quite like it with. And then on the teeth, like I said, not as much of the moist effect, but this yellowing where it almost looks like there's not enamel on them. But great job on the jawline here. Very weird to see some of the detail in here, because it's just not a normal creature. And I can't wait to see what he's going to look like next to my current Curse of the Spawn piece, which if you follow the Extreme Channel Instagram or Facebook page, you've probably already seen. So much bigger fan of Spawn than the base, but the base is still done good. much bigger fan of Violator than the base, but the base is still done excellent. Violator himself is just fantastic, though. All right, so with the paint, like I said, I love not just the clear, moist resin effect they did, but the different colors within Violator and how it's kind of these dark greens and browns, but they differ from the base. I think the paint's a 4 out of 5, more specifically on Violator. Sculpt as well, really impressed. There's some micro detail, especially in the piece itself. On the front, the back, some of these pieces I won't see. I think the Sculpt is also a 4 out of 5. It's a great representation of Violator. I really, really like it. So let's dive into the value of this piece. As I said, they made 33, and to my knowledge, I don't think a licensed company has ever done a 1/4 scale Violator piece, so it's pretty rare. But your following of Spawn, while it's very big, it's not big in the scheme of things when you look at characters like Avengers or Batman. So not a lot of people seeking after this. This did cost $1,000, and it is for relatively what I would say a smaller statue, but it's done very well. I think the value is a 3 out of 5 on this. Borderline a 2 out of 5 because I imagine there would be some shipping issues if I ever tried to resell this. I don't know if I could get my money back, especially with some of the breakages. Now, is this a 5 out of 5 statue? I would say if you're a Spawn lover, this is a 5 out of 5 statue. You're absolutely going to love this. If you've been a big follower of Todd McFarlane, he'll probably even love this. Not that he'll ever watch these videos, but if you are, man, love you. In a, non-creepy heterosexual way. But for me, I think this is a very, very cool statue. I have zero regrets, but I still think overall it's probably between a 3 and a 4 out of 5. And I'm going to bump it down to a 3 because I usually tend to fall to the lower score. I think it's a 3 out of 5 statue overall. But like I said, I don't have as many ties to Spawn and Violator as most people do. And some of the things like the broken jaw and this floating foot really do bother me. To win this Goro statue, first thing you got to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've actually subscribed to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Second thing is leave a comment below, and make sure it's a witty, entertaining, or funny comment. Because when we hit 20,000 subscribers, I'm going to pick a random video, and the comment that has the most likes on it will be the winner of this Goro statue. So make sure your comment is entertaining to others and entertaining to Mr. X. Because if I like it, I'm actually going to pin it to the tops to help you get more likes. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts below. Hit that picture of me to subscribe to the channel. Make sure you drop me a like on the way out and check out some of these other custom pieces in the playlist. Take care.